Hi, welcome to Draw Tip Tuesday. My name is Koosje Koenen and my sketchbook is my companion. It is my visual journal, so to say. I draw things around me, anything really, because everything is interesting when you draw it. And on this channel, I like to share ideas, tips, and just basically the things that I learn on my drawing journey, and hopefully it inspires you on yours. And I know that even though you love drawing just as much as I do, you probably have these moments that you think, there's nothing to draw, or I'm a little bit bored, or that you get into this rut of creativity, you don't really feel it. And yeah, I think we all have that, and it's normal and it's fine. Don't panic. Just keep drawing. Really, even if you don't feel like it, the act of drawing will probably solve it. And if it doesn't solve it just like that, then you might need a little challenge. And the following weeks, I have a challenge for you. Every week, I will draw this little setup. It's kind of a still life, if you will, but basically it's just a collection of things that I like. It has to do with coffee. You might know that I'm a coffee lover, so I thought, well, if I am doing drawing after drawing after drawing of the same subject or the same still life, I better choose something that I like. And every week I will use a different approach or a different tool. And that's my challenge to you. I want to invite you to join me in this little challenge of embracing the wonkiness and of discovering how interesting things can be when you draw them, even if you draw them multiple times. You'll find yourself making mistakes, you'll find out about your style, about your preferences, you can challenge yourself to use tools that you are not familiar with, and that way you can pull yourself out of the rut. And if you're not in a rut, it's just a really fun way to keep going in your sketchbook. So today I will start this challenge. You can see it as a project with a very, very low threshold, and I really hope that you will join me. The following weeks I will be drawing this setup over and over again, and it won't be boring because I'll do it in a different way every single time. Let's dive into our first drawing. I'm using a Stillman & Byrne Beta Series sketchbook, a Sailor fountain pen with a calligraphy nib filled with platinum carbon black ink, which is water-soluble ink that is suitable for fountain pens. My watercolor set, which has Daniel Smith watercolors in it, a water brush that contains water in the handle, and a cloth. It's my go-to materials. Just to ease into the challenge, I am going to use familiar and favorite tools. I'm speeding the video up because I want you to have drawing time after watching this. So what I basically do is I just pick a place where to start, and I start at the left-hand side so I don't smear my ink. And from drawing the handle, I am drawing the next shape that I see and the next that is next to it. So basically I draw the shapes that I see that also touch each other. So I sort of work around a little bit without thinking about the rest of the drawing, which also means that very soon I realize that my drawing is running off the page. But I am totally embracing that. I kind of like that cropped way. I don't really mind that I cannot fit the whole saucer and the whole cup, but I do see that there's a little bit of white space left on the top, which makes it a little bit imbalanced. So what I do is I add a line for the edge of the table, but I also add a frame for the background. It pulls the drawing a little bit more up and it feels a little bit more designed, even though I didn't think about this on beforehand at all. This is the great thing. When you are drawing, you can come up with all these great creative solutions, and every time you'll have other problems to solve. So now that I have solved that, I am adding a little bit of texture to the towel and also just a little bit of the reflection in that little metal jar. And I'm not going to go crazy on reflections. I don't want to be too accurate. I just want to draw this little setup and get the vibe of it. And it's a happy vibe for me. So what I'm doing now is grabbing my watercolors, and first I will start to paint in the shadows. So I am mixing a blue and brown to create gray. And with that, I am looking at the darks on my subjects and also the drop shadows. And while that dries, I start looking for the colors that I want to use for this drawing. I'll just go for the two bright colors that I have here in my setup, and that's the orange cup and the blue saucer. And I think I can manage to actually use only those two to really limit myself and not go too crazy on mixing colors and looking into all the reflections of the metal. That's of course also there, but I just want this to be a leisurely drawing and it doesn't have to be super accurate. I'm watering down my color a little bit for the reflections, just so they're a little less bright. Well, there is, of course, coffee in the cup, so I am adding a little bit of dark brown just to indicate that I'm sipping my coffee while I am drawing this. And I still have that gray on my palette, and I see some more shadows, so I'm adding a little bit more. Water down a little bit too on the lighter bits, giving just a little bit more texture and life to it. And then I pick up that same brown that I just used for the coffee. I think it's burnt sienna. And I mix it with indigo. And that makes for a really beautiful dark gray, almost black. And I can use that for the handle to add a little bit of contrast. And also for a few bits and pieces that give some more texture to it and some more shading. But then I think this is it. A quick drawing to ease into this challenge. Next week I'll try a different approach or a different tool. I hope this was helpful for you, even if the takeaway is just that if something doesn't fit on the page because you started too low on the page or too big, it doesn't mean that you made a mistake. It doesn't mean that you can't finish the drawing or that you need to dismiss it. No, keep on going. It might actually give you ideas to approach the page in a different way and also to be more creative. And always, if you're not quite sure about a drawing, like halfway through the process, just keep going. Trust the process and give it some more attention and line and color, whatever it needs, whatever you need. And you will see that you will bring it somewhere where you might not have expected it to go. Okay, your homework for this week is make a setup. Choose something that is interesting to you. Maybe you're a gardener. Put some gardening tools on the table and make that your subject for the following weeks. Or maybe you like cooking. Think about some cooking utensils maybe. You could of course choose to draw art materials. Or maybe you have a favorite pair of shoes that you like to draw over and over again, or a little house plant. It doesn't matter as long as it's yours and you have access to it week after week. I hope you like these kinds of ideas and challenges. And if you want more of that, then check out my Patreon page because I have way more there. And I think you'll like it. I will put the link in the description below this video. I'll see you next week. Bye.